Hi guys, this is Lord Carlson. In today's video, I'm going to give you my review of episode 20 of season 3 of The Big Bang Theory. Cooper soup, Cooper soup, Cooper's soup, Cooper's pull, Cooper's churro, pull, churro, churro, pull, no, sorry, Cooper's poisoned apple churro soup, and and nerd and nerd and nerds before nerds 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 or corn calm. So here we go, guys. I love this episode because like like in like we like I last told you in episode 19 of season 3 of the Big Bang Theory, things didn't look good, didn't end up very well for Leonard and Penny. Well, this is how then this is the episode that confirms it and what I mean by it, the breakup of all breakups, of all nerd breakups. And tragically for Leonard, he's alone again. He and Penny are basically in awkward spaces between each other, and are in awkwardness again with each other. But now it involves Sheldon, and I know what you're going to say, guys. Well, how can it involve Sheldon? He's not a part of the relationship. You're right. You are right, guys. But now Sheldon has to pick a side. Pick sides. Either go to Leonard's side or Penny's side. So he's in a predicament. So Raj and Howard basically tell Sheldon that you have to pick a side in these type of situations, Sheldon. You're either with Penny or with Leonard on this. But in this case, Sheldon out and automatically invites himself to dinner, to have dinner with Penny. And luckily for Sheldon, Penny's making spaghetti, which is one of Sheldon's favorite foods. But with a twist, since Sheldon automatically invited himself to have dinner with Penny, he said he basically requested Penny to put little hot dog sausages in the spaghetti, and Penny did that. But here's the problem. Leonard had already bought Chinese food for all the gang, for the gang, excluding Penny. Excluding Penny, of course, because again, awkwardness. Awkwardness between him and Penny. So Sheldon had to come up with the idea of having two dinners without making things awkward for himself and making things uncomfortable for himself as well. So he went hunting down for 10 hot dog packets. Since Penny since Penny didn't have hot dogs in her fridge. So Sheldon said, I have I have some in the apartment. But Howard but Howard wanted to, had to leave. Had to leave. But so then to to make up an excuse of why Sheldon needed to go outside, aka to dinner with Penny without Leonard knowing, he basically said, I'm gonna go out with you. I'm gonna take a walk. I'm gonna take a walk. I'm gonna walk you. Let's walk out. Let's walk out together. And plus, Howard, I want to walk outside. So so by this time, by this time, uh, you know, Sheldon already gotten, had already acquired the hot dogs. But since, but since, but since he said to Howard, I want to take a walk outside. He kind of, had to walk back around, back, back around to the entrance of the apartment complex. But when he walked back, as he was walking back around to the apartment complex, a dog that was smelling Sheldon for the hot dogs, because Sheldon was hiding the hot dogs in his pocket, way deep in his pockets, and the dog chased him down, and poor Sheldon knocked on Penny's door. Then after Penny opened the door, she saw the mess that Sheldon was, and the only hot dog that survived was one. The only hot dog that survived was one. But then later that night, Sheldon knocked on Leonard's bedroom door, and basically Leonard was like, "Go away, Sheldon. I'm asleep. I'm sleeping." And Sheldon was like, "Maybe I should come at another time." Then Leonard was like, "Come in, Sheldon." And then Sheldon had to tell Leonard what had been going on with him, and basically Sheldon basically said, "I didn't know what to do." Howard Howard and Raj told me that I had to pick a side, either you, Leonard, or Penny. And since it was confusing, and since I don't understand the the intricacies and the variables that are in a relationship or after a breakup like you had with Penny, thanks to Will Wheaton maybe, I didn't know what to do. And then Leonard said to Sheldon, you I don't care if you maintain a relationship, if you still maintain a friendship with Penny, Sheldon. So don't. But then Sheldon said, but Howard and Raj told me. And then Leonard said, what? So did did uh, did what Rod and Howard tell you sounded like this? Bros before corn corncom, and then Leonard then Sheldon said yes. Then Sheldon said yes, and then of course Leonard said yes. And these types of relationships you have to pick a side. These types of breakups you have to pick a side. Either 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 a friend or the girlfriend that broke up with him, or vice versa. But since I already have made it clear to you that I'm okay with you still maintaining a friendship with Penny, you don't have to worry about it. But here comes the poison apple part. The poison apple soup. The the poison apple churro soup part. As the days went by, Sheldon Sheldon had told Penny that he wanted to go to Disneyland. So Penny said, "Okay, okay, okay," but he said yes, you can come, but the original plan was that Penny and some of her girlfriends from the Cheesecake Factory were going to be going alone. Just the group of them, but to the to Disneyland. But since Sheldon has good Balkan hearing, he overheard he overheard the word Disneyland, and he auto invited himself to Disneyland with Penny's friends. But here's the funny part. Leonard was going to take Sheldon 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 to Disneyland, and but then Leonard and Penny kind of had a little spicy hot of a taco argument, but not intense argument, but still an argument. But then eventually Leonard said, "Okay, you can take Sheldon to Disneyland. But let me warn you, don't let him convince you to that he can take a spin or a ride on Space Mountain, especially after eating a churro, because he gets sick on Space Mountain, and then you end up with with churro soup on yourself, on you, Penny." And of course, and of course, and of course, and I want to know if you are going to come home before dinner, or after, if you're going to eat something at Disneyland, or after or after or after or after leaving Disneyland, so I don't have to make dinner. But Penny did not do that. Sheldon had fun. And at Disneyland, but as soon as they came back, Leonard was pretty mad that Penny did not call him and tell him that they had already had dinner after she and of course Sheldon had left Disneyland. And then they got into a little argument again, but not intense, but still argument, and then then Sheldon said, "Don't fight, please don't fight again." Then then Leonard was like, we're not throwing we're not throwing steel word steel word steel word chairs at each other. Me and Penny, we're just having a discussion. Then 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 uh then Penny said, "Put on your PJs, brush your teeth, brush your teeth, and go to bed." Then Leonard said to Sheldon, "Aren't you going? Are you say thank you to Penny?" And of course, Sheldon said, thank you, Penny, for taking me to Disneyland." And then the poor guy, meaning Sheldon, crashed out and he fell asleep. And after arguing for a little bit more, but less intense, both Penny and Leonard went to Sheldon's bedroom and basically kind of had a agreement of of whether they should leave Sheldon sleeping or just basically pl- plan his murder. And then Penny said, "I think we could make this work. We can maintain an a smooth ab smooth 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 friend friendship still with each other." And this is how this wonderful episode of season 3 of the Big Bang Theory, and as with a lot of a lot of churro, and a lot of poison apple, and a bunch of soup. So with that being said, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to tap the like button, and please don't doubt yourselves. And if you want to if you want to stay up to date with all my nerdy videos about the Big Bang Theory, please don't doubt yourselves and tap that notification bell. And if you want to expand your time here on my on my Big Bang Big Bang Big Bang Big Bang adventure of the Big Bang Theory, please don't doubt yourselves as well and tap that subscribe button. So with that being said, guys, until we nerd again, bye.